Good morning, students. Today we can see the topic changes of state. So changes of state is a from one substance to the another substance, that it is a changing. So for example, changes of state, see, solid is one of the state and liquid. So the solid is changing to the another one state, that is liquid. So that process is a melting process. Liquid to gas, vaporization. So liquid to solid is a freezing. So gas to liquid, that is a condensation process. Solid to gas, that is a sublimation. So here we can see that we can see the two processes. What are the process means? Melting, vaporization and sublimation. So this is occur when we are heating. When we are occurring only, this process will be done. So that process is called as a endothermic process. So in the endothermic process, the speed of the molecules, that it will be increased and they will be moving in a faster way. So this is a endothermic process. So next we can see the what is that means? Freezing and the condensation. So in the freezing and the condensation process part, the heat it will be removed, so that it will be in the decreasing the speed of the molecules, so that that they will be moving slower. So then this process is called as a exothermic process. So this is a exothermic process. So from before we saw 5 topics. What is it? Melting, vaporization, freezing, condensation, sublimation. So these are the topics today we are going to discuss it. So first we can see the melting. So melting means, for example, what we can say, we can take a ice cream, then liquid to solid. So for example, first it will be in a ice cream is in a solid process. Then if you keep in a sunlight, what will happen? It will be converted to the solid. Then water. If you are taking the water and if you keep it in the refrigerator in an ice cube box, then what will happen? After few hours, if you take and see, that it will be a solid. So the liquid, when we are cooling it, at the time it will become a solid. So this is a melting process. Next we can see the vaporization. So the kettle that is kept on the fire, the bubbles and the liquid, which will be becomes a water vapor if you heat for a long time. So for example, if you take any one of the vessel, in that pour the water and heat it for a long time, what will happen? We'll be having some of the bubbles in after few minutes. After that, it will be having some of the sound. So later, if you keep on heating, what will happen? The water will be get vaporization. The water will be get vapor. So likewise, when you put a wet cloth to dry, the water evaporates into the air. So leaving the cloths, then only the cloth is getting dry. So in that there are two types of vaporization: boiling and the evaporation. So boiling is a method of heating, and the evaporation is a second, that is a vaporization, that is a natural. So boiling method is a heating, and the second one is a vaporization that occurs by the natural. So the boiling, that is the process of the conversion of liquid into the vapor on heating, that it will be the conversion of the liquid into the vapor by heating. So in the gaseous state, only the arrangement of the molecule changes and there will be no change in the chemical composition. So the boiling is a physical change. So heating a liquid, the particles that it will be gain energy and that it will be vibrate vigorously. When we are heating any of the liquid, after the bubbles, you will be hearing one of the sound. How it will be? The vessel, it will be vibrate more vigorously. So when the particle that is possessing enough energy, they overcome a strong forces of attraction between one another. So the particles break free from one another to move randomly. For example, when the liquid water is heated to 100 degrees Celsius, it boils to become a steam. So the boiling occurs when the boiling point is reached. What is the boiling point? That is 100 degree Celsius. So at the time the liquid changes to the gaseous state. So next we can see the evaporation. So we have to first, you can take a glass of water. So the water molecules moving here and there in the different velocities. So after that, some of the molecules, especially at the surface, could be that it can be moving in a direction away from the liquid, and it will be having a adequate energy to overcome the attractive force, that is the surface tension of the liquid. So here then the molecule that it will be escape into the air. So the slowly and steadily the water molecules escape, or otherwise said to be a evaporate, and the water level in the glass decreases as the time passes. So what is the evaporation means? The evaporation is a technique that is used to separate the dissolved solids from a solid to liquid mixture. So this is a technique that is used for extraction a salt from a seawater in salt pans. So from drying clothes to the drying fish, the evaporation method is used. So this is the evaporation. Next we can see the freezing. So we all know that the freezing, taking freezing ice cubes. So the water freezes a compartment of the refrigerator, that is gets cooled and solidifies to form a ice. In the case of liquid water, changes into the solid water, and that is a ice cube you are saying. So this is the freezing point is a 0 degree Celsius. The boiling point of the water is a 100 degree Celsius. The freezing point of the water is a 0 degree Celsius. In the freezing, that is a liquid to solid, that is a freezing. Here the arrangement of the particles in the liquid and the solid, that will be a it will be more it will be arranged together. So next we can see the condensation. So the condensation, that is gas to liquid. So in the process of the cooling. So liquid to gas means in the process of the heating. So the condensation is the changing of a gas that is in the liquid state, and it happens by the cooling. Then the evaporation is the changing of a liquid into gaseous state, that is happens by a heating. So this is the process of the condensation. So in the condensation, condensation is the conversion of gas into the liquid states. Here the liquid obtained after the condensation can be converted into back to the gas by heating process. So the condensation is also a physical process. So next we can see the sublimation. So sublimations, for example, we can say camphor. So we all know that camphor, that is being burnt in homes, kept in the rooms to prevent the entry of the mosquitoes also, we use that. So have you ever noticed that camphor becoming a liquid at any point of time? So how it will not. So the the camphor, if you burn it, immediately it will become a liquid. So the certain solid substance, that is like a camphor, naphthalene, and it gets converted into gas directly upon heating without becoming a liquid. So the process in which the solid is converting directly into the gas, that process is called as a sublimation. If you burn the camphor, it starts to how it will be black, very dark black gas, it will be getting evaporated. So the sublimation is also a physical state. So next we can see the crystallization process. So the crystallization process, that is the soluble impurities that it will be getting removed from the certain solids by the crystallization method. So the process of cooling a hot concentrated solution of a substance to obtain a crystals, and that is called as a crystallization. So we also know that the sea water, that is contains a salts, and that is dissolved in it, and the salt can be separated from the sea by the process of the evaporation. Salt can be separated by the sea water by the process of the evaporation. So the process of the evaporation is not a good technique, because soluble impurities do not get removed in the process of the evaporation. So the crystal of the salt that is obtained by the process of the evaporation, that is very small, so the shape of the crystal cannot be seen clearly. So the solid substances are usually purified by the process of the crystallization. Large crystals of pure substance can be obtained from their solution by the process of the crystallization. So the crystallization is the method of separation as well as the method of purification. So that is known as the crystallization. Thank you, students.